So this is a photograph of Jesse's body. You can see his case number up at the top.
By their letter, which of those rooms are we looking at on this picture? Are all of Jesse's wounds, or at least stab wounds, noted on this diagram, or these diagrams that we're looking at?
Yes.
Can you go over them on this diagram for us, just pointing them out, and then we'll go through each one.
Okay. So starting from the left side, there's wound A, there's wound B, and then further down on the left side is wound C. On the right side, the top of the shoulder, is wound D. Then moving to the arm, there are 4 different wounds, but many of them are paired because the knife went through one side of the arm and came out the other side. So there's E and F on the bicep, and then there's H, I, J, and K that are on the top of the arm or around the axilla. And then there's also a wound near the left nipple, G.
We could have slide 28, please. Doctor, what are we looking at in general here?
So this is a photograph of Jesse's body. You can see his case number up at the top. You can also see this purple discoloration here. That's lividity.
Of the wounds that we looked at on the body diagram just previously, which of those wounds, if you put in terms of how you characterize them by their letter, which of those wounds are we looking at on this picture?
So this is A, this is B, this is C. You cannot appreciate D. It's under,
Where would that be?
It's under the black box. This is very roughly the top of the shoulder up there. And then let me look at my report to see if this is E or F, just because the arm is rotated. So this is F.
So in your report, under injury number 1, stab wound, back of left shoulder, do you see that on page 2?
I do.
Which injury does that correspond to on here? What letter?
So this is letter A.
Can you describe for us what you noted about that injury?
Yes, so it's slightly obliquely oriented or at an angle. There's no discernible blunt edge. And these are standard descriptions that we give of these external wound characteristics.
Did you then go on to note any blunt force injuries?
Yes, indeed.
What's a blunt force injury?
But blunt force injuries is inflicted by any object. They don't have sharp cutting edge, but they can, with the force, you can create a contusion, means in the underneath skin hemorrhage. Abrasion is the skin surface damage. We call it abrasion.
And you noted those abrasions on the right upper eyelid, right?
Yes, so abrasion on the right upper eyelid and abrasions on the temple area, just below the right eye, and small contusions on the anterior chin, and small abrasions on the right lower lip, on the right lower lip. There are abrasions and contusions on the left lower chest, and the purple contusion on both anterior knee.
Doctor, was there a point in time when you documented that you asked to document whether some of these injuries could be consistent with defensive wounds?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to ask you to get specific at each wound, but based upon what I'm showing you, S383, you indicate that certain wounds were consistent based upon your training and experience and this autopsy itself with defensive wounds.
Do you remember I grouping all the sharp injuries 1 to 17? So number 9, number 10, number 12, number 13, number 14, number 15, number 16. Those group injuries, my opinion, they are consistent with the defense wounds.
And just very briefly, when we look at slide 23, we're looking at the right leg of Sophia Caneiro, correct?
Correct.
Is there evidence, based upon your examination, of wounds that you believe to be consistent with defensive wounds?
Yes.
Okay.
You see the vertical cuts on the anterior chin area. You see the stab wound on the right side. You see the stab wound on the left side. Those wounds for me is indicate Sophia was lying on the ground. Somebody tried to stab them. They use the leg, try to dodge the knife.
Okay. Can we preserve that?
23.1.
Can I just briefly have slide 24, please? Got to undo that. Thanks, Doc. And then last, slide 24, please. Is that also consistent with what you believe to be consistent with defensive wounds upon Sophia Caneiro?
Yes. Now we're looking for, from upper version, look at the right foot. You can see on the right ankle area have a cut. Maybe have another cut on down here. I'm not 100% sure.
Can we preserve?
24.1.
No. As to all the injuries that you have discussed this afternoon, did you document them on a body diagram of Sophia Caneiro?
Yes, indeed.
Slide 26. You recognize that?
Yes.
Is that all you're writing?
Yes. So there's clearly show the label 13-18-1301 with the decedent name and all the injuries.
And the purpose of that is to show where all of those injuries are, and there's also certain measurements on that diagram, correct?
Correct.
And does that accurately depict, your sketch of, during the course of the autopsy, of the injuries that Sophia sustained?
Yes, indeed. You notice almost the entire body was our injuries.
And what is that?
That's a portion staining of front left shin area of jeans.
Were results obtained?
They were.
And what were those results?
With regards to 6-1-2-1, Sophia Caneiro is identified as the source of the STR DNA profile obtained.
Okay, now I see that there's no statistic there, is that correct?
There's no statistic directly under this conclusion statement. It is covered by a footer at the end of the report.
And again, why is that?
So with regards to source attribution, I have to cross the statistic of 1 in 7 trillion, and that's always going to be the same number. So we just have that listed as a footer at the bottom of the report. Whenever a source is mentioned, it's referenced at the bottom of that report.
And here, are you identifying Sophia Caneiro as the source?
That's correct.
What is the next item?
6-1-3-1, that was a portion staining of front right thigh area of jeans.
The results obtained.
They were.
And what were they?
With regards to 6-1-3-1, Sophia Caneiro is identified as the source of the STR profile obtained.
How about 6-1-4-1?
That is a staining of the front right shin area of jeans.
Were results obtained?
They were.
And what was the conclusion of that?
The STR profile obtained from 6-1-4-1 was not of sufficient quality or quantity for comparison purposes.
What is the next item listed?
6-1-5-1, that was a portion of staining of rear left calf area of jeans.
Were results obtained?
They were.
And what was the conclusion?
Sophia Caneiro is identified as the source of this STR DNA profile obtained from 6-1-5-1.
Now, you talked about genes that were located, correct?
Yes.
And for these, I think you said Were they part of what was sent to the New Jersey State Police Lab?
Yes.
Okay, for purposes of testing?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as 232. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, are there,
There's a lot here.
so there's a lot here. Could you explain what a lot here is?
At the very bottom, it's going to be my evidence bag. Once it was returned from the state police, we had to account for it because it was a separate item, so I put it in its own evidence bag. And in that evidence bag, the jeans were in butcher paper with subsamples. And then throughout the course of this investigation over the months, they were opened, photographed, repackaged, things like that. And in preparation of the trial, they were mounted on this display board.
Now, there's some white tags on the jeans, correct?
Yes.
And what do those represent, if you know?
Those are areas of testing that were done by the New Jersey State Police.
Okay. So you didn't create those, correct?
No.
Now, again, this is heat sealed, correct?
Yes.
And this is, the presentation as it stands today is for purposes of, so people could see it, is that
Yes.
right? Now, was there a point in time that you were provided with information that the lab located something in these fumes?
Yes.
And what was that?
Live cartridge, unfired cartridge. Bullet.
Bullet?
Yes.
Just going to show you what's been marked as S241. Ask you if you recognize what that is.
Yes.
What is it?
So I have it described as a NJSP lab item number 6-4, which was the live round from the jeans.
When was the last time you shared a meal with Mr. Caneiro?
Para un cumpleaños de mi hija.
It was for a birthday of my daughter's.
Now, approximately how many days earlier from that fire did you have dinner for your daughter's birthday?
2-3 días antes.
It was 2 or 3 days before.
Were there any points in time during that friendship that you and Mr. Caneiro went anywhere, like vacation-wise?
¿Es algo así?
Sí.
Yes.
Where do you recall going?
Fuimos a Colombia.
We went to Colombia.
How many times did you go to Colombia?
¿Cuántas veces fueron a Colombia?
2 veces fuimos a Colombia.
2 times we went to Colombia.
Okay. Can I ask you who paid for the trips to Colombia?
Él pagó los viajes a Colombia.
He paid the trips to Colombia.
Now, during the course of that friendship, was there ever a time when Mr. Caneiro helped your children, or you or your children, with any expenses?
No.
No.
Was your daughter applying to colleges back in 2018?
Sí.
Yes.
Did Mr. Caneiro ever provide any assistance with application fees?
Él le regaló el dinero para aplicar a los colegios.
He gifted her the money to apply for the colleges.
Now, was there a point in time, I believe in approximately 2018, when you got a new car?
Sí.
What kind of car was it?
¿Qué tipo de carro era?
Audi.
It was an Audi.
Do you remember approximately what the monthly payment was for the Audi?
No hice pagos de carro.
I did not make car payments.
Okay. Who made the car payments?
¿Quién pagaba los pagos cada mes?
Paul.
Paul.
What do we see here in slide 98?
So that's that metal locker opened, and that's the contents of one of the shelves.
And what do we see in there?
Directly in front, you'll see 1, 2, 3. It's like 7 handguns that are attached to the back wall, a blue training pistol in the foreground, some holsters, magazines with ammunition, and other assorted ammunition above it.
the red boxes. Then you'll have ammo cans, metal cans at the top shelf on the left, and then underneath that, the bottom shelf there's another assorted metal ammunition cans.
Sounds stupid, but what goes into metal ammunition cans?
In this particular case, ammunition.
Boxes or assorted rounds?
Some of them were boxes, I believe. Some of them were just assorted loose ammunition.
Can I have slide 99? What do we see here?
That's that shelf directly below all the firearms, and then you'll see 4 ammunition cans, and they're all labeled. On the left is 45 ACP. Now moving to the right, the next one over is 9mm. The next one over that to the right says 9mm at the bottom, and then above it, it says 124 green, and then all the way to the right, 9mm, and then above that, subsonic, and then in this picture, I can't read the 2 labels underneath the 9mm.
Okay. What is subsonic? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. Does it relate to the ammunition that's inside?
I believe so.
Okay. What ultimately was done with the handguns?
They were packaged and then sent to the New Jersey State Police Ballistics Lab for testing.
Just want to show you S-187. Do you recognize what that is?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's a black semi-automatic Glock 19 handgun, 9mm.
Okay. And has it been made safe?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And can we open it? Is that a fair representation of what was located, one of the guns that was located in the basement of 27 Tilden Drive?
Yes.
S-188 in front of you?
Yes.
And what's that?
That would be a Glock 17 9mm handgun, semi-automatic handgun.
What's Glock?
But it's a brand of firearm.
Okay. And with respect to the last item and this item, is there any visible damage to these weapons?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that, if you know?
It looks like rust and heat damage.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is it?
It's a Springfield Armory Model 1911 A1 handgun, semi-automatic.
Okay. Just what's in the box is the way that you found it?
Yes.
Okay. You recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
It's a unknown model or serial number handgun with wooden grips. I'm trying not to. It's unsettling.
And it's unloaded, doesn't have a magazine, correct?
That's correct.
I'll show you what's been marked as S-192. You recognize it?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
6 Hour P229 semi-automatic handgun.
Can you open it up and just show us what it looks like? And again, is that safe?
It is safe.
No magazine?
No, sir.
Just showing you what's been marked as S-193.
Yes, sir.
You recognize what that is?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
That's the 6 Hour P228 semi-automatic handgun recovered from the basement.
Now, that weapon, as well as all the other handguns that you discussed, were they sent to the state police for examination?
Yes.
Show us what that gun looks like.
And then the opposite side.
I just want to be clear. The weapons that you took from the gun lock, were they lawfully owned?
I believe they were.
Okay. And did you list all the weapons that were seized from that area?
Yes, the long guns.
Yes.
They were ultimately identified as one of them being a precision firearms model PF-15B multi-caliber rifle, and then the serial numbers and assorted accessories with them. A Savage Arms Rascal 22 SL and LR caliber rifle. Strom Ruger and Company Ranch rifle 223 caliber. A Gammo air rifle. A wooden stocked rifle with bayonet and Savage leather strap. A Browning BBR 30-06 rifle. A Benelli Supernova 12-gauge shotgun. Ruger Model 10/22 22 caliber rifle. A Colt AR-15A2 Sporter 2 22-3 caliber rifle. Action Arms Uzi Model 45 ACP caliber semi-automatic rifle. A black AR-15 type rifle with a palmetto bolt. A black AR-15 type rifle with a L3 EOTech sight foregrip and streamlight TRL-3 weapon-mounted light, a black AR-15 type rifle with Trijicon ACOG sights, streamlight TRL-1 weapon-mounted light and fore and end grip, a short AR-15 type rifle with a Sig Sauer Romeo 5 sight, a taupe-colored AR-15 type rifle with L3 EOTech sights, and a black AR-15 type rifle, no make, model, serial number, or caliber visible. And that would be it. Sorry.